Welcome to MarcusG.tv. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. I'm a chef on a mission. Today's mission is organic. Organic food. Article from organicauthority.com. Is organic food the secret to reviving small town America? Awesome, awesome title. Is organic food the secret to reviving small town America? Well, I've always thought that yes, that is part of an equation of reviving small towns across the U.S., having also distilleries, breweries, especially breweries in small communities is a major asset. And I read that, I don't know, maybe a year or so, 2 years ago, might have been the Wall Street Journal, how these types of businesses are revitalizing these small towns across America. To give you a quick history on breweries, in 1980, we were only at 40 American breweries. That's all we had in the whole country. Right now, we probably have well over 4,000 breweries. Now, back over 100 years ago, in 1880, we probably had 2,500 breweries. So all of a sudden, these breweries started either dying out, being bought up, closing. Something happened to these breweries, prohibition. So everything just started shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. Well, now the brewery scene is so hot in America, and it's so hot really globally. Places around the world have this very active brewery part of their economic structure. So, and that's one thing in my hometown that we don't really have right in the town in walking distance. We just got a brewery about 1.5 miles away, 2 miles, actually almost 3 miles away from town. And people are talking about it. It's the buzz. It's called New Pulse Brewery, and it's right down the street in Woolworthing. And that's the local buzz, and we want to go. We want to taste beer and this and that. And people don't even, the beer is good, but people don't care if the beer is not that good. They just want to go to a brewery scene. They want to go to be in a brewery because there's some kind of allure about this. And I think there's an allure about organic food as well. So, of course, in America, the same thing had happened with breweries. Farms kept shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and being sold off to people that were developing the land for housing or malls or whatever, or the land was sold off to bigger farms and mass agriculture was getting involved. So the same revolution's happening with organic food. More farmers markets are coming up. The growth in farmers markets is astronomical. And that's because people want real food. We all want to know where our food's coming from. We want some transparency. We want to go talk to a farmer. We want the afternoon to go to a farmer's market and just buy stuff and be seen and be cool because a lot of other people are doing the same thing, and we want good, healthy food. So, dying small towns, an American epidemic. Small towns have been shrinking for decades, and even more so since 2000, according to Forbes. Former industry hubs are shrinking, the median incomes in small towns are dropping, with manufacturing work being replaced by service jobs. One native of Athol, a small town in Massachusetts, wrote about this trend in 2012, noting that in the early 20th century, particularly post-World War II, it was thought of as a grand idea to move out of the dirty insanity of big city and live in small towns, where one could make a name for himself, get a job at a local factory or store, and be part of a small, tight community. You know, I live in a very beautiful small town, Ellenville, New York, 90 miles north of New York City, population 4,000, maybe even less than that now. And we have been shrinking in population since for the last 30 years. This town is shrinking. And after the year 2000, pesky fly, after the year 2000, we lost almost 1,000 jobs between a big resort, Hydro Aluminum, and Schrade Cutlery, Schrade the knife company. We lost all these jobs, close to 1,000 jobs, and it was so devastating for the small town. And we had been losing jobs steadily up until that. We lost Channel Master back in the mid-'80s. If you had a TV or if you had an antenna on your roof, up until the 80s, it was a Channel Master antenna, and that was made right here, 5-6 blocks away from where I'm sitting, that was how people got to watch their TVs until then. So, my small town has definitely died out. When we opened my restaurant in 2003, there was nothing on the street out here besides the theater. Yeah, sure, there was a pharmacy, there was a printer, but there was no reason for people to come into my town and walk the streets and have foot traffic walking around town. There was no reason for any of that. And that's all changed in the last 5, 6, 7 years. Totally changed. You can't get parking spaces now in the front here. People are coming to Ellenville to eat. People are coming to... One thing that's not taken off is our farmers market, and it's unfortunate. And I don't know if it's the wrong day of the week, our farmers market. I've proposed a Friday night farmers market for years. That's when you have all the New York City people in here. This fly is like really like all over me. And he's probably being drawn to the light of the computer screen here. Because that's what happens. Flies, if you sit at a window in a building and there's 5 flies in the whole building, they'll all be at that window for the light. So that's probably what's happening right now. Even though I'm shooting this in the morning and the windows are lit up, but the way that the camera looks here on the computer, it looks like this could be a night shot. This is actually going in the morning. So the town here is it's thriving. It's not thriving where it should be, but it's made massive gains. But our farmers market, I proposed this Friday night farmers market for years because that's when I feel the people from New York City are up in our town and they're on the streets, and the people are at the restaurants and they're coming up for their weekend houses, and that's when they want to buy broccoli and cheese and cauliflower and crafts and or whatever. They want to buy it for the weekend, especially to consume that food for the weekend, not on a Sunday when they're driving back to New York City. So our farmers market is lacking still, and hopefully that'll change. So here's, the author says, is organic food the answer? Between 2 small towns on Route 17 in upstate New York, that's where I am, towns that the Photo News noted in May were in need of some tender, loving care, entrepreneur Michael Bruno decided to open a Hudson Valley farm stand selling organic food. The Blue Barn organic stand sold out within the first few hours opening this past summer, and its success has not stopped there. Since moving to the area 4 years ago, Bruno has made a point of buying 14 properties with a goal of revitalizing the commercial economy of the area. Bruno plans to complete his farm stand by creating a vertical organic farm destination on a 70 to 90 room hotel, roadside rotisserie, and a bar that will help in creating a reason to travel to small town in upstate New York. The New York Post called the plan transforming a blighted town of Tuxedo and Sloatsburg into a gateway to the Hudson Valley. This is exactly what's happening across America. You're having these food hubs. We have now a food hub in Kingston, New York, with 2 food distributors that are delivering local food to restaurants all over the Hudson Valley and into New York City, that are running 6, 7, 8 trucks. It's fantastic. I read or I heard a couple years ago that Russia, and people are going to say, well, our organic food isn't viable for the country. It's not viable to feed on a mass scale. And I read this great piece a couple years ago about Russia. How about 90% of the food comes from 2 acres or less. That means food that they're going to buy in the store, in the market, that they're putting on the food that people are putting on their table in Russia, on the dinner table. That food was produced on a farm of 2 acres or less. And those farms are all over Russia. So that's their food supply. If Russia can do it, why can't we do it? In fact, the amount of food that you can grow on a square foot garden in your yard is just insane. And the more farms that we have doing this, the more food that's going to be in our community. It's great to eat healthy. It's wonderful to eat healthy. It's wonderful to buy broccoli all winter long that's coming from California or Mexico or Florida. But it's also awesome to buy broccoli for 4 months out of the year that's coming right from down the road, a half a mile down the road, or a farm that's 4 or 5 miles away, or within your greater valley, within a 30-mile radius or 40-mile radius. That's the ticket. That's when the money stays local in your communities, in your region. And to the local vendor, the local independently owned store, you can be buying the broccoli from. But if they're now buying it from right down the road, that's the key, and that's why all of those currencies, those additional currencies across America are so successful. Like in Berkshire, you have the Berks money. In Michigan, they have them. They have this all across, and even in the Hudson Valley, we have a system here. And there's this separate currency that these organizations, these nonprofit organizations, are issuing, because there's like 30, 40, 50 people in this, maybe 100 people in this group, where if somebody comes to my restaurant and gives me, let's just say it's Hudson Valley cash, they give me Hudson Valley cash. Now all of a sudden I have Hudson Valley cash, and I have to look into the directory and say, okay, here's 50 businesses that I can use my Hudson Valley cash in, my Hudson Valley coins, whatever it's called. Oh, here's an electrician. Here's an electrician that's down the road who takes Hudson Valley cash. I'm going to give my money to him, and now he has $50 worth of Hudson Valley cash, and he did an electric job for me. Now he's going to want to buy equipment for his restaurant. I'm sorry, for his electrician business. He's going to want to buy light bulbs, whatever he needs to buy. So he goes to a hardware store that they're taking Hudson Valley cash. So now this hardware store has Hudson Valley cash. Now what do? They look in the directory. They go, oh, I want to go for a massage. I'm the owner of this, and I want to go for a massage and treat myself. So they use a masseuse that takes Hudson Valley cash. And the masseuse goes, wow, I could really use a great organic meal. Where am I going to go eat? I'm going to go eat at Marcus's restaurant because he's on that list, and I'm going to give him Hudson Valley cash. So that money just keeps going around in a circle within a community, as opposed to buying from a store that's outsourcing this and that, and who knows where it's going, and it's actually going back within the community and cycling around. That's why these local independent currencies are such a huge hit. Look into it in your area. They might exist. They're popping up all across America. So Bruno's saying here, that the owner of this farm stand, that, food-minded millennials are what's bringing back these small towns. People that want good food, people that want an experience, people that want a agritourism, people that want to actually get out of the cities and go to these small towns and have an awesome weekend, an awesome week. Here in Ellenville, it's beautiful because we have a lot of farms. We're in the Roundout Valley. And I've noticed a massive trend of people coming into this area that are actually retiring, getting out of the city life. Teachers, lawyers, people like that are actually coming up into our area that are opening farms. And this for them is like a retirement thing, to have a 5-acre farm and being part of the community. And it's a fantastic, fantastic thing to see all that happening. So food tourism. And I think brewery, we have several breweries now in our area. I mentioned the one that was right here, but within 15, 20 miles, 30 miles, you have a lot of breweries. You must have 6 or 7 breweries now, and it's a beautiful thing because some of these breweries are actually farm breweries where they're growing their own hops or growing their own grains, and they're really, really intense like that. So organic food, revitalizing small towns, I think it's a massive component. I think food is a massive component. Everybody needs to eat, and I think if everybody wants to be aware of better food, I think food is a ticket here. I'm Chef Marcus Guiliano. Thanks for watching. If you like my videos, please hit like, subscribe to my channel, and definitely pass it on.